your attention, please. Hope everybody had a great time at the Capitol. I'd like to take this time to introduce Governor Michael Parson, the 57th Governor of Missouri. Governor Parson is a veteran who served 6 years in the U.S. Army. He served more than 22 years in law enforcement as the Sheriff of Polk County. He also served in the Missouri House of Representatives from 2005 to 2011, in the Missouri Senate from 2011 to 2017, and as Lieutenant Governor from 2017 to 2018. Governor Parsons and First Lady Teresa live in Bolivar. Together they have 2 grown children and 6 grandchildren. He was raised on a farm in Hickory County and graduated from Wheatland High School in Wheatland, Missouri. He is a small business owner and a 3rd-generation farmer who currently owns and operates a cow and calf operation near their hometown of Bolivar. Governor Parson has a passion for sports, agriculture, Christ, and people. Please help me in welcoming our governor.
Hello everyone, please be seated. Wow, what a crowd. What a crowd on that. My gosh, great to be here today. You know, I do want to start off by telling you my staff wrote a wonderful remarks for me today to tell you it's the 35th Annual Nursing Advocacy Day. So I want you to know they did their work. The other thing I want you to know, I'm not going to use it, but they did a great job. I want you to know they wrote me a good speech today. But I want to come in and just talk to you a little bit today. You know, I come from rural Missouri, I come from a town of 356 people. So if anybody knows what rural Missouri is about, I believe I know that in my career. And to know how much and how important medical services are to people in rural Missouri. Not to take anything away from the urban areas, but I'm telling you, it's a different deal in rural Missouri. And why it's so important that we make sure that the nurses across this state, that we support them. Number one, I've spent my entire career trying to make sure I did my part as a legislature along with other people to make sure that we stand up for the nurses across the state of Missouri. Because in the medical profession, I believe all of you in this room today are the heart and soul of the medical profession, the ones that deliver that services day in and day out, and you do an excellent job of that. So I want to say that for sure for all of you here today. And the question is, where do we go tomorrow with healthcare needs? And how are we going to provide those services? All right, so number one, we know that there's shortage of doctors in rural Missouri. There's shortage of nurses in rural Missouri. And there's shortage in this industry as a total statewide, whether you're in rural or whether you're in urban. So what does that tell you? It tells you maybe we need to think outside the box sometimes. And I think since becoming governor, I've tried to do that. One of the things you're all here today, I'm not sure why we don't allow you to do more than what you're doing now under your current practices that you're doing. And if I'm the patient, I'm not sure I really care what the mileage is between you and a doctor. I can just say that right now. I don't know what I really care about. And I'm going to say most Missourians agree with what I say when it comes to what you're doing. Is how we provide those services to those areas. You know, the reality of it is for people like me that's been to the hospital before, that's been to the doctor before, and you see who does the bulk of the work in the clinic. Let's just face it, when you go to the doctor's office or you go to the hospital, and it's great to have doctors. I got doctors, my friends, but who does the bulk of the work? People that down here in this room does. You know, I was a nurse practitioner, sewed up my finger one time. I was on a farm, kind of cut it open and everything. Nurse practitioner goes in there, she sews up my hand, takes care of everything, and I talked to her for a little bit. And I told her, I says, hey, I said, my daughter makes children clothes. She sews children clothes. So I said, I want you to do a good job because I want to show my daughter how you did the stitches. And she said, I smashed my fingers where it was. She said, well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home and I want you to tell your daughter to put a hot dog in the microwave, and I want her to put the heat on so it blows up. And then I want you to go tell your daughter to sew that up, because that's what you're asking me to do today, where this looks good and everything. So I said, okay, I get it. So at the end of the day, she takes care of me. Doctor comes in and says, hey, you did a great job. Thank you very much. See you later. So who does the work? We all get it. We all get it in my profession, and I want to do everything I can support you. The reason I don't want to go through the talking points, I know why you're here at the state capitol today, to advocate for your industry. And you don't need to waste a lot of time trying to advocate me, because I'm going to support the nurses across this state as much as I can. But because I think that's how crucial you are to everyday life on everything. And believe me, I've been through the gamut before with that. The other thing I want to tell you, a lot of you, as I look around the room, are young, getting into this profession and getting started in your careers and where you're going to go in that career. But let me just tell you one thing. You're going to have the privilege to go over to the state capitol, and you're going to meet with legislators, and you're going to talk to people that really has a direct effect in what you do every day. So here's the one thing you need to remember when you go over there. Everything that the legislatures do at the state capitol affects somebody everywhere. So you need to keep that in mind. So as you get a little older, and you get in this profession, some of you's been in this profession a long time, but the decisions they make over there has effect on you, on what you do out there. So don't ever think that you don't need to be involved with the advocacy portion of what you do, because it's critical. And you can't always leave that up to your directors. You always can't leave that up to your board members. You as individuals have got to make sure your representatives and your senators know what's important to you. And every one of you play a role in that. And if you don't do that, that's on your shoulders. But you need to make sure when you go talk to those people that, one, in your profession, you need to know who your representatives are, who your senators are, and you need to make a point to talk to them and what's important to you. Because it does make a difference when we hear that from people back home. So you do have that much influence. And I don't know how many people you got here, 700 or 800 people, but you're going to make an impact when you go over to the Capitol if you haven't already been there. The other thing I want to talk to you kind of more on the official side today of some things going on in the state of Missouri. So this is totally off script, but I think of all people to be kind of talking to today is on the coronavirus. I don't know any more better group than to talk to today. So to kind of let you know kind of where we're at in Missouri. So I want to get off script a little bit. I want to just share with you some of the things that I do know in the state of Missouri, some of the things on the national level, kind of an overview of where we are in the state of Missouri on that. So, and this is important because one of the reasons I want to be able to share this with you today, I want you to be able to share the information I'm giving you today, to share it with your friends, your family members, and the people in your industry. Because we all need to make sure people know the facts of this issue and what that means. Who better to do that than you as professionals, that their people are going to listen to you, and they're going to assume you know if you're in a medical arena. Just the way they assume because I'm governor, I know, but the reality of it is I have to get briefed, I have to understand it, and understand where we're at in the world on that, and where we're at in Missouri on that. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk today about Missouri real quick for you, but on the coronavirus that's out there. I want you to know, first of all, that Missouri is well prepared for this. As prepared as you can be. We know what we need to do. We know what the effects are. We know how many cases we have. We know exactly what the testing is, the process that will go through, and we're equipped to handle that. We also know, I had a conversation with the Vice President a couple of days ago on the national level, and that they're definitely on the fast track to work on trying to get whatever we need on the local levels and make sure they're helping the governors, whether that be through the equipment we need, whether that be masks, whether that be ventilators, whether that means testing kits, whether that's vaccine that they're working on. All of those things, every one right now is about 100% effort in trying to do everything we can on the state side of that. The three places that right now that we're watching very closely, that we're having nursing homes is an area that we really got to be is a high alert on for us. The other thing is the schools. Schools, you need to keep a close watch out. And then for us on the state level, prisons. You know, those are all areas that I would say quite a little bit of high alert. Anytime you're in large groups of people, 700 or 800 people, for example, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. You're the experts in this, but what's the main thing you can do? And that is the truth, and you need to make sure the public knows that. Wash the hands. That's what it does. If you wear a mask, and I'm going to tell you right now, the experts that we've been briefed on does not think the mask do a whole lot of good, you know, because one, the first thing you do is when you put a mask on, the more mainly they're not fitted, and mainly you're touching it all the time with your hands. You're adjusting it, you're trying to move it around because you're not used to wearing it, and that's not a good thing. So most of the health experts say that that's not a great avenue to protect yourself, although if people want to do that, that's fine. If you go, there's been 15 cases that's been tested in the state of Missouri that has made it to the test level. So the question you'll get that I get as governor is like, okay, let's just say I went to Washington State, and I come back and says, you know, I feel great, I feel fine, but I want to be tested. You know, that's probably not an option at this point because you just can't do that just because you want to be. You've got to meet the criteria of, you know, why that is that you're going to be tested. But it's any other illness. If you go in there to see you, you as professionals are going to say, okay, what's wrong with you? Do you have a fever? You know, if that fever is 104 and there's different things you got going on and you don't feel good, that's a whole different thing. But just to go in and say, hey, I want to be tested because I went somewhere, that's probably not an option right now that's available just to do that. Although I think that will be coming where there'll be more test kits that will be performed all the time. But I don't know if there's ever going to be just a place where you just drive through and be tested. So I don't want that misinformation out there. The other thing I would suggest to all of you that's in the room today, find out through the Department of Health or your hospitals or who you work for to make sure you have the facts for the coronavirus and what the effects are on it and what people, everyday people do. Because you well know on social media there is misinformation after misinformation out there. All of us, me as the governor, you as in the healthcare industry, has that obligation to make sure you push out the facts. Because somebody in your family, some of your friends are going to be looking at you to say, okay, what do I do? And where do I go get information about that? So I would suggest for you to look at the Department of Health's website, find out where you can push people to that information, and you as individuals start putting it out. Because a lot of people are going to pay attention to what you say. So the main thing I want you to know, we're well prepared for that. We've been in constant communications on the federal level and the state level. And more importantly for me is to make sure the local levels understand how important this is and that we're doing our part to make sure that those county health departments or those medical services on the local level understand how important this is and what you need to do. But those are the one thing I would say when you leave here or while you're here, make sure you know where that information's at and figure out how you can make sure and give people that information. But the good news is we're pretty prepared for that day when it comes. Let's hope it don't, but it very well could. We know how that's going across the United States, and then keep in mind kind of the comparison, and you'll see footnotes in there about how flu compares to the coronavirus and those things. But again, it's all about information and it's about educating the public to be able to do that. So I think that's important today. So I want to kind of cover that with you because we've been kind of meetings. For me as the governor, I've been involved with the federal delegations for our state. I met with all the statewide elected officials today. I met with all my department leaders today, my directors that we met. We'll be meeting with the mayors to give them updates. And big deal is we're just trying to make sure that the everyday person walking home, going to Walmart, going to the grocery store, has an idea of what to do and what to expect. So those are the things. So I want to kind of share that with you while I was in here today. But the takeaway is we're ready. If that happens, we'll be ready. The state will be ready. Let's hope it don't. But we're prepared to test, and most of the medical services are out there, and people understand how to handle it when they get there on that. So that's the important thing. Let me just finish up by saying this, because I've been talking to a group of people today about leadership roles, and I do believe the nurses in our state, the nurses in our country, when you look at who they're made up of. For example, this little trivia on that, and I look around the room and I see a lot of this, but for you men in the room, you are terribly outnumbered. 91% of the women, 90% of the nurses in the country are women. Women spend 2 to 1 per dollar on health care more than men do, which means, ladies, you're the ones that have the knowledge of the health care. You're the ones that spend money in that. You're the ones that, to a certain degree, makes the decisions for a lot of different people. So, one, you need to remember that. And two, at the end of the day, as a governor, I want to tell you this. Everything you do matters. And I would tell this same talk to my grandkids if they were in front of me today. But what's important is we have an opportunity to really change Missouri. We have a way to really change lifestyles, to be better in the healthcare industry than we've ever been before. And the only way you can be better at healthcare, and for most of you that are here today have a leadership role, the people at the head table, as I tell people in the governor's office, it's never about being the best governor. It never is. It was never about being the best sheriff when I was sheriff. It's about making the people around you better. And if you all will remember that when you go to work, when you're at home, it's about making people around you better. If you will do that and you'll focus on that every day, we will change healthcare in the state of Missouri, and we'll change it for the better. There's lots of challenges out there that you have to face, but I'm telling you, if we all work together and we all understand it's about helping somebody else, and to a certain degree, that all of you in this room are basically public servants. I know you get a job, I know you get paid, and I know you get to go to your place of work, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to be helping somebody be better. And better don't always just mean health. It means you're supposed to be helping people get better every day. And that's something not a whole lot of people get to do, what you all get to do in this room. And you should be proud of the industry you're in, and proud of how you're going to affect somebody's life for the better. Because you will, at sometimes. I'm going to close by saying this. I had open heart surgery about a little over 3 years ago, 5 bypasses. And I just advise you don't go down that road. There's probably things you can do before you get to that point. But I had that on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Governor. It's kind of what I like to. But the point, the reason I'm bringing that up with the 5 bypasses, and you know, you go through this experience sometimes it's so serious, and you know, you're wondering, okay, are you going to be back in the room or are you not? You know, am I going to see my family again? Am I not? You know, am I prepared if something should happen? All of those things go through your head. But I can't tell you what the people around me that I never knew, that I had never met, meant to me during that time. The nurses that were in there all the time taking care of me. The nurses that were preparing me to know what to expect. You know, the ones that were with you that give you that real knowledge of what to feel. Because then doctors are going to come in and they're going to tell you what's going to really happen. They're going to be gone. But the nurses are the ones in there that's going to explain to you what it's going to feel like and what it's going to be like when you finish up. I will never forget the experience I had with that and the positive look I have towards your industry. And not only that, for all them people that we take for granted every day working on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, all the holidays, of the night, all the things that you do all the time. I can't tell you from a personal point of view how important it is for the care I received, and I will never forget those people that were around me. Then, to me, they're just special people all the time, that they were willing around me and to give me an opportunity at life again. It's not every day that you go out there and tell somebody thanks for saving your life, but I sure can tell those people thank you for saving my life, and I will always do that. It is an honor and privilege to be the 57th governor of the state of Missouri. Thank you all very much for being here. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Governor Parson, for taking time out of your day to come and speak with us and share your knowledge with us.